I originally wasn't going to make a video talking about this, but I've been recently seeing a ton of videos on my social medias about influencers making tons of money doing door-to-door sales and inviting people to join their sales team. So I wanted to share my actual experience doing door-to-door sales. So I've been sharing this idea of creating this YouTube video with a lot of my friends. And when I share my idea of why I think my experience was different from a lot of other people's, it really always stems from my personal background and what I was doing before I became a sales representative. So before I started door-to-door sales, I was someone who had a full-time job. I had my own side hustles. I did YouTube. So I always worked from sun up to sundown every single day. There was like no time for free time. So my buddies who were doing door-to-door sales at the time, they would call me and they would be like, hey, what are you doing? Like, do you want to hang out tonight? I'm like, oh man, like I would, but I'm super busy. Like I gotta work. And they just yell at me. They're like, dude, like you need to quit your job. You're working 10 times harder than me and you're making way less money than me. Every time I heard this, I was always thinking to myself, maybe I do need to quit my job. Like maybe doing door-to-door sales makes way more money and I'm just wasting my time. That was always the thing that they would tell me, is that I'm wasting my time. So these people that were telling me this, they were my friends. Like I knew them very well. I've known them for a long time. So I had to give them more benefit of the doubt when they were telling me that I was actually wasting my time. I thought that these people cared about me, whatever. I was basically more driven to believe them rather than some stranger coming up to me telling me that if I worked underneath them, I would make way more money than what I'm doing now. So a little ways down the road, I actually ended up quitting my full-time job. It was probably like 6 or 7 days after I quit. My buddy texted me, said, hey, do you want to go knocking today? I just had all of those replays of all of these phone calls in my head saying, you need to quit your job. Like, this is the way to make money. And I specifically remember seeing this YouTube video like the day before that said, sales will change your life. All these things just kind of went through my head, and I read the text like a few times, and I thought, I'm actually doing nothing today. Like, why don't I go test and see if this actually makes all of the money that these people claim it does? So I'm a big numbers person. I was always asking questions, and the numbers that I was given was $30,000 in 3 months. When I kept thinking about that, I'm like, $30,000, he's not working as much as me. He's making $10,000 every single month. That's more money than I make for sure. Like that's more money per day. If he's not working all these other days, he has so much more time than me that I could be putting into my side hustles. This just seemed like too good to be true. That's because it was. So the thing that I actually signed up for to sell was 1, solar cleanings. The second thing, which this is what made the real money, was pest guard. It was to keep pigeons out from underneath solar panels. And this was something I really never knew was a problem in Arizona until I actually witnessed it for myself. So my first day, I was just following them around. I got my pen and paper, like I got everything. I followed them. We drove probably about an hour and 30 minutes up north to the spot that was good, whatever. And I saw these horrible homes that actually needed this service. And I was basically getting myself into this sales mindset. I'm like, dude, like I gotta believe in the product. Like I gotta believe that this makes money. And overall, I was just continuously shown all of these pay stubs. And I remember on the drive home that I was coming home, one of the guys that was there with me, he was like, I'm actually going to add up how much I made. Supposedly, it was $30,000 in 3 months. He starts going through it all, adding it all up. And this is one thing I did not know before anything was said. All of that money was pre-tax. So $30,000 pre-tax in 3 months. So it is $10,000 a month, but that's pre-tax. That's not as much as I actually thought, because these were the pay stubs that I was seeing. So I thought this was all after the tax. And he keeps adding this up. It was $14,000, and I almost freaked out. I was like, if I quit my job specifically to do sales, I would have been so pissed. Like I would have been so angry that I was in that vehicle wasting, because I didn't do any sales that day, wasting my entire day out there, $14,000 in 3 months. I was sick to my stomach, genuinely, because I just felt entirely lied to. I thought, well, maybe because these guys aren't working as much, and if I go do it and I work 10 times harder, maybe I could make more money, right? And I come to find out they're going every single day. Like they're not even skipping Sundays. They're going out every day. And I'm watching we have like a thing that shows all of the people's pays, and there's so many days where they're zeroing. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what I was doing before, like now, that I quit my job, I was making about 270 a day, like every single day consistently. And that's just like an average day. Lowest days I was making 150, highest days I was doing $566. And that's just through Depop, selling clothes, things like that. And I'm like, well, if I don't do my stuff and I lose my $277 and I hit a 0 day, I'm making no money that day. And that was the biggest killer ever. So I head out there a second day, I shadowed again. The third day, I finally get like my logins and everything. I don't need any more shadowing. I got this. So I knock more houses than both of these guys combined that I went with. I didn't sell. And it's not because I couldn't sell the product. It's because nobody answered the door. And it's not like whatever. Like, I obviously didn't kill it at sales. I didn't make anything. And I did this for a second day. I did this for a third day. And I started to realize I'm wasting my time. And this doesn't make as much money as I thought it would. This is my standpoint on this, and this is why I think my personal background is so important in this. I now, like, this is about 2 weeks after, I now can clear, I just did a month of 8,500. And that was, I didn't make any sales in that, and I wasted about 6 days doing this garbage that didn't make me any money. And within that, I still produced $8,500 this month, and that's after my business expenses. That was actual cash flow to my accounts. That's after tax. I didn't make a single sale. I'm gonna be straightforward, and before you tell me anything, you have to like hear the rest of this. So I kind of discussed with some of the guys on the team, and I was like, well, what did you do before this? And every single person worked a job that was part-time, or they just worked like 2 days a week, and it was like $16, $14 an hour. They were maybe like a server, and they barely made like $500, $300 like a week. And they were telling me, well, isn't it insane? We can make $1,000 a week doing this. Like $1,000 a week is not a lot. Like I make $1,800 a week. As like when I was hearing that, I made $1,800 that week doing Depop, and I wasn't trying that hard. And I'm like, all of these people think doing door-to-door sales is a ton of money is because they're coming from a place where they're making substantially like huge amounts less. Like they're making no money then going to making 1K. They think this is explosive. They think it's huge. But these are people that also like don't have like degrees, whatever. And I know there's people sales stories that they killed it. They made hundreds of thousands of dollars, but my personal experience, I was completely lied to, and every single time that I've like looked into stuff like this, it's always a lie. And I hate when people lie. I hate when people explode numbers. I want to hear the real stuff. I want to see the real things. And it's so disappointing that like them telling me to quit my job, that I was happy with what I was getting paid to join something that would have made me way less. Like I genuinely do not know what I would have done if I quit to do door-to-door and I found that out later. I would have lost it. I would have been crazy. Just going through that process was really weird. I felt lost, and I think the whole time, like I kept hearing, we hopped on phone calls with higher ups, and they would always tell me the same pitch that you hear from every sales guy is, oh, well, this work, nobody wants to do this work, but that's what gets money. Like this is how you make money. Like money. But in reality, there's so many more things that make more money. If you are not the top of the chain when it comes to a sales team, you're literally picking up crumbs for somebody else, and it sucks. Like, I just don't think that makes a lot of money. And I'm talking to people on this team that are they're the top salesman of the month. They made the most that month. So all these people below them are making way less, and they think this is killer. They think this is the greatest job of ever. In reality, it wasn't. And especially for me, I just didn't think it was actually that bad. I keep seeing these videos online of social media influencers talking about they're making so much money. They're like, I love my life. I love my job. Like you guys are living a miserable life if you work a 9 to 5. And really, they're lying to you to join their team. And I mean, if it wasn't obvious, to join their team and just work for them and make them more money, because that is like the goal, is that you make them money. All in all, that was my experience doing door-to-door sales, and I hated it. it really wasn't that hard of work. And that was always what it was made out to be, is like, this work is so hard. And really, it's not that bad. Like, if you have actually worked hard work, like if you do anything blue collar before you jump into this, you're like, this is easy. Like, there's no lifting, it's just walking. It's like a lot of walking, but I mean, anyone can do that if you're getting paid $1,000 a week, right? That is my conclusion of my door-to-door sales experience. I didn't like it. I was extremely lied to, and it was extremely unprofessional. Like, the leaders of the team never really reached out to me when I was trying to pitch like a way to grow their social medias. There was a lot of things that I just didn't like when I was going through all of the systems, like the applications, the forms they made. I just think it wasn't professional, and I was like, if only you would listen to me and we could have got to speak, we probably could have made this company like extremely like great at a lot faster pace. Like, they've been doing it for a long time, and it just seemed like it started yesterday. So that is it. That's all I have to say. I don't like door-to-door sales. I don't think that, I think 99% of it is a lie. I'm sure there's those people that have actually been out there and they've made a lot of money and they're extremely happy, and they're probably a little bit offended right now because I came obviously from somewhere where I was not set up for the greatest door-to-door sales experience. But that's all I have. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, drop a comment if you have any questions for me, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video.